Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. We're here today with another 2v2, this time an alliance of Elves versus the Lizardmen and the Greenskins. So let's get to it. You can see right off the bat, these four Wild Riders of mine, including the Wild Hunters, engaged on a couple Chameleon Skinks. For the rest of my army, I've got a main line of Eternal Guards with some Dryads, Spellsinger, Lore of Life, and Orion. Professor Pone's High Elves got some Spearmen led by Teclis, some Sisters of Averlorn, a Heavens Mage, White Lions, Fireborn, and Keepers of the Flame. Of course, for the Lizardmen, we have those two Chameleon Skinks that just got absolutely wrecked. We've also got some Ripperdactyls, Colossodon Hunters, a Skink Chief, and Tic-Tac-Toe leading them up in the air. A line of Skink Cohort and Red Crests. We've got Orc Boys backing them up. Night Goblin Archers, 3 Doom Divers, we've got an Ancient Salamander, Skink Priest, Lord of Heavens, all sorts of fun stuff. So yeah, right off the bat, you can see the Elf Archers firing in as the Skinks advance. We're going to get a massive mainline engagement here with the support of some Dryads. Then these Ripperdactyls are going to catch a Waaagh and immediately fly down and try and get this Spellsinger. Got these Wild Riders in a supporting position, and we're going to counter that Waaagh with the Horn of the Wild Hunt. Juice up these Wild Riders in their charge bonus up to 100 charge. Oh, that's just Orion. Oh yeah, no, the Wild Riders too, up to 100 charge. Yeah, very impressive stuff. That is going to just absolutely wreck these Ripperdactyl Riders. The Colossodon Hunters do manage to get back up in the air, but we'll see about the characters. Meanwhile, in the main line fight, we've got some foul magics going off. Orion unleashing his magic, his bound abilities here. The Fireborn had just gotten a beautiful charge over on this side, and a very nice Comet smashing out some of those Red Crests. Fortunately, the FG to get being used there to hold down those Fireborn, but here we've got the bound ability from Teclis just roasting through this front line here, doing a ton of damage to these light troops. That is going to be pretty devastating altogether. The frontline engagement wasn't going great for us otherwise, but yeah, you can see the Heavens Mage taking some heat there. Teclis is also potentially going to get gooned out here as well by these various units. You can see the Heavens Mage trying to stay alive, and we do have some Hagbane tips as well in the back line. But yeah, the Wild Riders have now swept up and around and are charging through the back line of the Goblins. Definitely a bad situation for the Greenskins. A lot of these very squishy Goblin Archers, you know, the Skulkers and so on, really can't stand up to Wild Riders. They have such a good charge bonus, even without the Horn of the Wild Hunt, of course. So yeah, just a mass terror route in the back line. It's a very heavy group. 4 Wild Riders is just a lot. You know, the four heavy cav builds, definitely pretty valuable. I mean, they're not heavy cav. I should say 4 elite cav builds. But yeah, Teclis getting swarmed by the Flyers here. Definitely not the best. He's going to screen out there with the Keepers of the Flame and some Spearmen as well. You can see the Heavens Mage kind of trolling around. Another beautiful Comet there, just wrecking through some of those boys and those Night Goblins. There are a lot of numbers for us to work through. You can see we were pretty heavily outnumbered to begin with there, but at this point a lot of the troops have been dealt with. We do still have some rallying Skinks over here on the side, some Moonhowlers potentially coming back from route as well. But yeah, the Wild Riders just rampaging through this backline area. It's very, very rough for the Goblins at this point, but yeah. Bombardment being dropped, that is going to help, of course, with Orion's Terror. See off some of these boys and so on. There we go, Orion. Get like a 3-in-1 skewer right there. Keepers of the Flame going to hold out, some of them exploding. This is actually not the best for them to be fighting like mass Red Crests. This is going to be a little bit inefficient. We also have the Ancient Sally coming forward here, dropping a little bit of terror on some of those High Elf troops. But yeah, we'll see. The lack of leadership is really going to be the issue here, as not sure exactly what happened to Wurzag. He probably got, no, he's still alive back there. And yeah, Tic-Tac-Toe is getting pretty low, but he is getting back up in the air, and it does look like he's got the cold-blooded, at least to keep his leadership online for now. Teclis is taking a beating. Thankfully, that Potion of Troy is keeping him alive for the time being. But yeah, if we have a look over here, you can see some Spider Riders and Wolf Riders coming after the Spellsinger. And Wurzag is all of a sudden caught out all on his lonesome by these Wild Riders, and this is going to be a little bit of an issue. The Wild Hunters of Kurnos especially can get in here and get some pretty good work done. Wurzag doesn't have a whole lot of armor, so these non-armor piercing troops will do just fine. He's got 55 armor, which is not amazing. It's a little bit, but it's not great. Certainly the Wild Riders should be able to do okay there. Orion coming over, trying to hunt down some of these big dinos. Probably going to go after the Ancient Salamander here if we can. Teclis kind of in a little bit of trouble here. He's going to overcast a net, try and bail himself out, run away, use the few Fireborn that remain here, and the few Sisters of Avalorn. These Everqueen's Court Guards are getting exploded by that Ancient Salamander though, so definitely a little bit of a rough situation, but the Overwatch fire from the Hagbane tips and the Sisters of Avalorn should be enough to see off the rest of these flyers. You can see the various multicolored elf shots coming in here. And yeah, more bombardments and various abilities on these red crests here. You can see Orion going after the Ancient Salamander here. Just getting a nice little hunting skewer there. And obviously with his anti-large AP, he will be able to see off that Salamander in just about no time. Wild Rider's still cleaning up various units in the back, and you can see Wurzag has started to take a lot of damage. He has been able to do some good damage in return, but still, these Wild Riders will be a decent way of dealing with him, but he's going to go ahead and hit army losses, decided to just run for the hills, and at this point, it's just the unbreakable red crests that are left. So very well played to our opponents here. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. Certainly, you know, fun to take different styles of elf builds, not go overly hard on the silly shooting with the wood elves, but instead let the high elves take the shooting and the wood elves take the cav, which is sort of a little bit counterintuitive to what you would expect, but hey, that's what makes playing elves fun, because otherwise it's just boring, right? Oh man, we were considering as well some other builds, but yeah, fun stuff. If we have a look at the army breakdown here, you can see 167 kills for Orion himself. His area of effect damage abilities actually came in very handy here because we were up against two pretty large Horde-style armies, the Horde of Skinks and the Horde of Boys. Likewise, you can see the Wild Riders cleaning up a ton of kills. This one got up to 4 XP chevrons through the course of the battle. These guys didn't start with any XP chevrons, so that is mighty impressive, just cleaning up all the goblins, all the skinks. 242 kills, 124 on the Wild Hunters, 174 here, 209 over here. Just all the kills in the world. 129 kills on these Dryads is very solid as well. So yeah, definitely pretty happy with how this build went. Sort of inspired by some of Felcon's recent play in some tournaments using this quad Wild Rider build with Orion. Definitely very powerful. And with having a little bit of meat here, the Dryads especially give you some anti-infantry power. It's a lot to deal with, especially for these lighter factions. And I mean, Lizardmen not exactly a lighter faction, but let's see here. Professor Pone, the Keepers of the Flame did a great job kind of holding the back line. Sisters of Avalorn did a great job dealing with high-value units as well, especially like supporting fire against those Ripperdactyls and so on. Likewise, the Dragon Princes, these Fireborn here, got some good work done as well. For Wyvern, the Doom Divers definitely did okay. You know, Doom Divers, I like what they did to give them primarily armor-piercing damage, but I do think they just need overall more missile damage. In my opinion, they should be probably in the area of like a cannon, like an Empire Great Cannon, a Dawi Cannon, you know, like a Warp Lightning Cannon. Needs to be in that range in terms of damage. Even with the homing projectiles, like it's still, you know, it's still a little bit tough to hit, and it doesn't have the biggest, you know, explosion, and it's not like it's going to pass through multiple models in it, usually, at least, unless you're on some kind of weird slope. But yeah, I do think that they ought to just maybe buff the raw damage output a little bit of the Doom Divers, but still, let's see here. The rest of his army kind of just got rolled up a little bit by Wild Riders. Italian Spartacus, same thing. The Salamander managed to do okay. It definitely blew up some of those Sisters of Avalorn. You can see the Everqueen's Court Guards and the Sisters of Avalorn took quite a bit of damage. And the Salamander was a big part of that. Skinks actually managed to do quite well. The cohort of Sotek in the front line, with all the buffs from Wurzag and from everyone else, they did manage to cut through quite a few elves, which is pretty impressive. 116 kills on the Skinks, 90, 87 here. It's pretty good kill totals all said and done at the end of the day, but unfortunately it just wasn't quite enough for the Southlands Alliance here, this unholy alliance of Tic-Tac-Toe and Wurzag. Not quite enough to stand up against the Elf Boys, so Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed watching that one. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.